Okay, so everybody, good afternoon. We're getting started a little bit late. Well, we had such a wild party last night that I guess everybody's sleeping late. So, everybody but you all. Oh, good. Yeah, I was really fun. And I usually don't have fun at my own things, but so we're going to be talking. Oh, let me explain something. We changed the topic today. And the reason was because our topic for today, we're going to do our first mastermind, which is much more of an introductory towards bringing in all of your marketing plans. So I'll explain in a minute. So we kind of switched the days on this, and that's why it's different. I'm sorry to kind of do it at the last minute, but Mike and I decided yesterday when we were looking at our new schedule, it doesn't make sense to have that tomorrow. We need to have it for the very first time the official mastermind starts. Okay? So, if you want to complain to me, you can complain to me later. So, come on! Okay, so I'm just going to talk about time management for just a little bit, and then, no, that's supposed to say 12:20, everybody, not 1:20. We're not going to give Mike 10 minutes. Sorry, Mike. And then he's going to go into more of the nitty-gritty on scheduling and integration and all that for your social media. Okay, the main announcement, most of you were there last night when I talked about this, but I had a much bigger thing prepared to say, but we were so thrilled to have everyone give their, turned out to be testimonials that we were a little short on time, so I cut it short. So I wasn't sure everybody completely understood what the plans were, and I thought I'd just go over it briefly, not too briefly. Okay, well, the basic thing is that when we started this more than 2 years ago, and even over the last 2.25 years, people have said to us, what do you do with people that are really advanced with social media, really advanced with business strategy, and the ones that are just beginning and just need the real beginning introductory stuff? And so what we did, we've been doing various things to accommodate different levels. But as time has gone by, we've recognized that there's a core group of people that is really, has really gotten their arms around all of it, and but still has more to learn, still wants to develop more with their business skills. And so we thought maybe what we should do is go ahead and make a smart mastermind group, which is private, invitation only, and that group will meet face-to-face once a month. And then 1 week a month we're going to do a how-to class, which everybody can attend, plus guests can come to that. And they'll pay our typical one class fee, which is $30. So then we thought, what is a way to have our mastermind members have more individualization, more one-on-one with us? And we thought a really good thing would be to have office hours and to use the technology that we have now, which is Hangouts or Skype. But Mike and I have been having great success using Hangouts to have our planning meetings. So what we're going to do is publish our hours, and then you'll have direct access to us to talk about whatever you want. So, well, that will be in a group setting, and that we will be available. It's like when you were in college and your professor had office hours. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, in college though, you'd have to wait in the hallway till the student before you came out. So no, anybody can join. So we'll have it open to everybody to join us. But I'm anticipating that people will come in for 20 minutes, half an hour, and not stay the whole time. Because you might have something really special, like, for example, Susan setting up her Etsy account. I've got questions about that, and how can I get my banner done right, and so just lots of, yeah, and your picture for your event, and all those things. So I think this is going to be a way to meet everybody's needs a little bit better, and so I'm hoping this will work out, and this is the way it is. The schedule I passed out is our anticipated schedule for the summer. And it's not exactly, there's one right here, Mike. Steve, didn't I hand you one? Okay, I thought I handed you one. Well, how-to will not necessarily be totally beginner. It will be, well, for example, we're going to do a social media catch-up class on the 7th of June. So all of the most recent stuff coming in, Mike's going to do. and also teach Hangout. So make sure that all of you, do you think that's a good idea, Mike? Yeah. And then like the next one will be, it's not necessarily just so beginner that you won't benefit from it. So it'll just be up to you whether you want to go. Some people are not interested in Pinterest, so you wouldn't go to that one. No, and the Hangouts are only available to our mastermind members. No, they're not going to. And usually it'll be both Mike and me on it, and then in July there's one Friday it's just me and one Friday it's just Mike because of our vacation schedule. So, yeah, it'll be like an open discussion, and I think that like your question about Etsy, other people would be interested in, because there's some other members here that might like to have an Etsy account. Any other questions about it? Yeah. Okay, so it's May 31st. Thanks for, yeah, I just did that this morning. Okay, thank you. Let me just grab this. Okay, we have no meeting next week. 31st is going to be, I'm sorry, yeah, that's going to be, in black is the kind of how-to day or week. In purple is our Hangout. In green for success, money, is our mastermind. Okay? So if you look at that, and it's not exactly the second Friday or the third Friday because of all the holidays. We have Memorial Day, July 4th, and then Labor Day, and then Mike's and my schedule. So Mike won't tell me his schedule yet, so I'm dying to find out. You don't have any vacation planned this summer? I'm just going to tell you when to take off. No, I'm just kidding. I know for sure when I'm taking off because there's another family wedding. So. Yeah, good. But they're all, yes. Well, we're going to schedule the Hangouts at a little different times. We're going to try to vary it a little bit for everybody. So, but it'll probably mainly be Fridays. But we'll be a little more flexible. Mike's only available on Thursday or Friday, really. So it used to be Friday, right, Mike? Okay. Yeah? Probably. Hello. Okay, I'm Dale. What's your... Oh, nice to meet you. I feel like I know you from Facebook. Yeah, well, come on in and find a seat. No, we're explaining some changes that will just go on announcements right now. Yeah. Yes. I have reserved this room for the dates for the mastermind and the how-to. Yeah. Yes. No, but if you want to get together with a couple people and have the camera on all three of you or something, you can have fun and drink champagne. You can do that. No, just teasing. So, yeah, you did. Let's see. Make sure I covered everything on that. So, 12 to 1:30. Yeah, it's really the same. It's the same schedule, but just try to make sure you come to the mastermind because I think that's going to be really intense and really helpful. And so I'm really excited about it. Each of you will have your own marketing plan, and it's going to be a work in progress that you bring with you. And then you add on to, you might work on certain parts of it. We're going to have a sales funnel. Barb knows a lot about this because I've been talking to her individually about it. So I just think it's going to be a lot more tailored to your business. And we will have other people join us. I'm going to invite a few of our ex-members to come that I think would be interested. And other than that, I'm going to invite some people to join that will need to apply. Does that make sense? Because I need to see the commitment, and I need to see that they're at the level for doing this. Because it's a little more participation. I was going to say, too, that the fees are just going to be grandfathered at what you're paying now. And some people are paying different rates depending on when they join. And let's see. I've got go on after the class or like later this weekend. If you look at my most recent blog, which is being published at 12:30, I have a list of all the different things we're going to be talking about in the mastermind. It's got like 20 things. So yeah, if you go to Online Bismarck and look at them. today's blog. Yeah, don't. You don't need to do that. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. The other thing that I mentioned last night that I'm sure you all heard is that we're really looking at this from the viewpoint of abundance and not scarcity. And something, I've lived in Tucson for 13 years. Moved here from Phoenix. Everything's abundant in Phoenix. I mean, everything is, I'll buy this. No one ever tells you, I don't have it in my budget, or I don't have enough money, or that's too expensive. I mean, yes, that does happen, but it's not like down here. So 13 years ago when I moved down here, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I couldn't believe how poor. Poor. Yeah, and it's like a whole culture has grown up around being poor and not being on the level of a Phoenix or an LA or a New York. And I just think that, it just starts with each one of us. So yeah. Yeah. And people don't expect to pay for things. So I actually had one. This is the most extreme, and we was like 9 months ago. I had somebody come, and afterwards, it was one of our really good sessions, right? I mean, lots of valuable information. Mike and I had really done a lot of preparation. And she goes, "Can people pay for this?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, you don't need to come back." I didn't react. So anyway, and I've handed out the calendar. We talked about that. Let's see if this will work now. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about time management. And it's kind of interesting because this is a topic that a lot of people have been, from time to time, people have been saying, why don't you ever talk about time management? It seems like it's a topic that most business people struggle with. So I wanted to say, first of all, and I'd like you guys to participate with this, but time management, it's not really about managing time. It's managing yourself. Does that make sense? Being able to set your priorities and pace yourself. Okay, so and the other point I want to make is it's very easy to be busy and appear busy, and I don't know how many people I meet and talk to that say, I'm so busy. And you wonder, well, how busy? I mean, what are they busy with? Are they busy with what they need to be busy with? And we all need to step back and take a look at whether we are truly just busy making time, making things up to do to keep us occupied, or are we doing things that are really a priority? And it's important also to remember that what you do with your time, yes, you want to be efficient, but it's even more important to be effective. Busyness with Jerry. Yeah, especially with the computer. Well, a really good book. Here are two books that I want to, and anybody can borrow one of these. The 4-Hour Work Week. Who has not read this? Has everybody read this? Okay. Well, I resisted. Let me take this up. Is it fiction? No, it's one of those titles meant to grab your attention. Yeah. But this is the first edition, and this is the second edition. You can see I liked it a lot since I bought both. But I resisted even buying it and reading it because I thought, that's terrible. My Puritan work ethic. That's terrible. How a 4-hour work week? I don't want anything to do with this book. Then when I read it, it was a real eye-opener on the things you can do. So there's a chapter in here on how to make sure distractions don't distract you. There's a lot of great stuff in this book. But it's funny because his chapter about time management, he takes right from Stephen Covey, which this has been out for a long time. And has anybody not read read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? Okay, this is a classic. I mean, and we're going to be using this in the mastermind. But his habit 3 is time management and setting priorities. Anyway, I need to move on so Mike can get up here. There's 2 laws I'm going to talk about. One's Pareto. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right. The Pareto's law, which Pareto, is it Greek? Oh, okay. A lot of people think of it as the 80-20 principle, which is that 80% of the output results from 20% of the input. And Pareto came up with this because he planted peas. This is his little story that he hundreds of years ago gave. He planted peas, and 20% of the peas that he planted produced 80% of the crop. And then he drew that parallel to people and to things that you do. So how do you apply this in your life? So you need to ask yourself on 2 levels. What is the 20% that is producing 80% of my problems? And then what is the 20% that's producing 80% of my gains? Okay, does that make sense? So you might look at, for example, all your customers, and there's 20% that provide most of your revenue and that are great to deal with and affect future business. And then there's another 20% that is a real pain and you know what. And they produce 80% of your problems. So if you can effectively manage those 2 components and focus more on the 20% that provides positive results, you're going to improve your business and your life. So another way to look at it too is that where are your inefficiencies, and that could be 20% of what you're doing every day. You have inefficiencies and ineffectiveness, and but they're producing 80% of your lost productivity. And so how can you reduce that? And then there's again 20% of what you do that really pays off, and how can you increase that? So the other principle, Parkinson's law. Has everybody heard of these? Okay, this one's really interesting, Steve. We were talking about this last night. A task will swell in perceived importance and complexity in relation to the time allotted for its completion. And so what that means is that if somebody tells you you have something to do and gives you a month, and it's one task, if somebody tells you to do the same thing and they give you a week, what happens? With most people, what they do is suddenly that task becomes this huge looming thing, and it appears a lot more complex and less simple than if you'd had a shorter deadline. Does that, I kind of, you can relate to that, yeah. So the way you put these 2 together, you use the 2 laws together. And so number 1, you limit tasks to the most important to shorten work time. Does that make sense? So you limit the task to, okay, you limit your tasks that are those 20% that are negative. You increase the tasks that are the 20% that produce the 8% of the positive. And then to bring in the Parkinson's law, you shorten the work time, and then it's more important and easier to do. And so you use both those principles together. But the most important thing in using those principles is knowing your priorities. And that's where I think Stephen Covey really does a great job in this chapter on explaining how to figure out what your priorities are. So if you know what your priorities are, you can use these 2 principles together to shorten your work time and increase your productivity. Yes. Right. And it's kind of like your structure. You can leave it and then you come back to it. Yeah. So I took this right from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I didn't really want to rewrite it because I think he said it so perfectly. If you were to fault yourself in one of 3 areas, which would it be? 1, the inability to prioritize. 2, the inability or desire to organize around those priorities, or 3, the lack of discipline to execute around them to stay with your priorities in your organization. So most people say, number 3, oh, I'm just not disciplined. I don't have good enough time management. I'm wasting time. And really what it is number 1. That you really haven't prioritized. You really haven't figured out what is the most important thing I need to get done today, the most important thing I need to get done this week. So. And this is in his book, and I could send you, actually, anybody that wants a Word document of it. It's a weekly schedule that he recommends. Has anybody seen it before? I think it's pretty well known. No? Yeah. And so what you do is, here's the roles, and your role could be mom, grandmother, business owner, volunteer, whatever the different roles you have. It's not just for your business life. And what are your priorities for Monday and each day of the week, and then you schedule it out. So if you guys are interested, we can go over that another time more. Okay. Efforts with results. That's good. I like that. And so I just want to end, we'll go to introductions next, but I want to end with something for you to think about. If you only could work 2 hours a day, if you knew that every day you've got to shorten it just to 2 hours to get to work, what would you do? And that's going to help you set what your priorities are. And also another way to look at it is, what is the one thing I can get done today that will make me feel satisfied and that I've made progress? So let's go to our introductions, and we have 2 new people here. So we explain. We usually say our name and our company name, and then we answer a surprise, tricky question, according to Pam last night. So I will I will model it for you. So I'm Dale Dillon Lips with Online BizSmart, and the one thing that I could stop doing that would bring more productivity to my life is keeping Facebook open all day. So let's go to you, Barb. Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the things that Timothy Ferriss talks about in this, about not responding, having only one time a day that you respond to all your emails. It's really tough if you haven't been doing that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't see it pop up. You don't hear that little sound. Yeah. Well, it's addictive. You get a little rush when you see a new email. There's a little positive thing you get. Oh, I'm popular. People like me. I got an email. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I even check it on my smartphone. So, yeah. Okay. How about you, Steve? can relate to that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mike, how about you? Okay. Okay. Well, we'll expect you to report back to us at the end of the class. Okay. Just kidding. Sherry. One thing that you could stop doing right now. It's like clearing the desk. Relating to all of these. How about you, Robin? And Robin, you can say a little more about what you do since it's your first time here. Mm-hmm. One thing that helps me do that is to say, okay, today I have to get this done. It's probably something I didn't want to do. But I'm getting that done today, and so then I start out my day getting it done. So I don't want to think about it all day. How about you, Jack? Mm. Yikes. Yeah, I was just going to say production line. Uh-huh. So you're following that problem to solve it rather than finishing all of these things here. Yeah, see how that would be tempting. Well, thank you for coming. And Jack, Jack's been working with Mike on a lot of the websites, so I think some of you have seen his work before. And we have Brian, our videographer here. You want to say hi? He seems very quiet. Maybe it's just because of us all being older. I don't know. Okay, Mike, your turn. Why don't you come on up and we'll switch microphones.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think I'm a lot. I think I'm a lot like Jack, and I'm also always chasing the rabbit. And here, I like to solve problems. So when a good one comes up, I go chasing it. But I maybe don't get all of the things that are on my plate done for chasing that problem down. So let's see. Into the slideshow. So we're going to talk a lot about today about time management in the context of social media. So how many of you use some kind of tool to publish to all of your social media channels? What do you guys use? Okay, you're blogging and Facebooking, but are you using like a third-party tool at all to publish? Okay, we'll look at. Okay, so we're going to look at all three of those today as viable options to other channels that you may be publishing to. So there's good and bad to those. We don't have factual data that I've been able to find, but most experts say that posting, especially to Facebook, from a third party can diminish the edge rank or the popularity of those posts. So if I go on Hootsuite and I publish my blog post from there, it may diminish my post. Now, Post Planner, on the other hand, is a Facebook app, so you're posting from within Facebook. You're not posting from the outside in. I'm not saying it is bad. Here's the overriding decision point for you. If you only have time to use Hootsuite, then by all means use Hootsuite. It's better to have some content than no content. It's better to be consistent with your content than not put out anything at all. But you may, Dale and I prefer in most cases to be a little bit more organic. So we'll go channel to channel and post content to keep it a little truer and fresher. It's not right, not the best, it's just how we do it. Fair enough? Okay, so let's look at and talk briefly about one of the things you want to look at is as you do this, you may need to get on a grease board and flowchart this process. So for instance, some of the sites that Jack and I work on together, we have publishing built into the website. So when I push a blog out, boom, it automatically from within WordPress is going out to all of those channels. You can do that with a plugin. That is another way to go. But you want to map that out so that you don't come outside it. And I've done this. I've made this mistake, and I've set up like an IFTTT, which we'll look at briefly as well. It's a website that does auto-publishing, but you can create some really ugly loops because you accidentally duplicated some publishing to where it just runs in circles, and suddenly you have a bunch of Twitters out there that are just endlessly looping and repeating themselves. So always, everything always originates at your website, if at all possible. If you have any ability to publish at your website, it's where it should start. It should go out to these other sites, and it should always be pointing back at your website. So if I publish, I pushed a link out this morning from a blog post for one of our clients. Everywhere that content is out on all of their social channels, when you click that link, it takes you straight to the website. It doesn't take you to one of the others of these. It goes right there to the website. Because, again, that's where he converts. That's where we convert. Our shopping cart is there. We want people to see those things to where they're buying our products, etc. And the same for you, in that in most cases, the hub should always be your website. Yes, Pam? There are a few. Jack, what are you currently using? NetScripts. Next Scripts is a plugin, and it's not easy, Pam. One of the things I don't love about it, it's not delivering the post, for instance, Facebook, in a way that I just really, really love it. So in most cases, I'm still manually posting there, and I've gone to, and I'm beginning to get a little more traction by publishing like the image from the blog post. and then putting in a little snippet and the link back to the blog post. Because the big image attracts people, gets them going and connected to it. And so you may want to vary how you publish your blog posts to Facebook and see which ones are getting more action. If you just grab the link and bring it over, it gives you the little box with the small images you get to choose. But that may not be the most attractive to get people jumping in and commenting and sharing and interacting with your post. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's correct. You're uploading the image to Facebook. Correct. Yep. Yep. So we'll actually look at a real-time version of that. I'm not going to go greatly into this, but you need to understand who you're talking to and why. Otherwise, you won't be able to, when you walk through this process, you're really not going to create content that is enticing to these folks. This is your target audience, or I would say your preferred audience. We talked about the Pareto principle, or the Pareto rule. You want to do business with the 20% that just gives you great relationship when you do transaction with them. They like doing business with you. You like doing business with them. You're not beating your head against the wall and wasting a ton of time. And you'll get that in a segment of your population. We were having that conversation earlier today about a person that we've worked with for a while that we beat our head against the wall because they really frustrate everybody they work with. I don't want to do business with them. Nothing personal. I just have more to do in life, and so that personal fulfillment is more important to me than another sale. So, let's say again. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you keep those phone numbers handy and a few of their business cards even. So one of the things as well, and again, I'm not going into this. This is a strategy thing that we've talked about, but we do a whole class on this and making sure that your content is diverse. Again, so let's bring it into the context of Facebook. I cannot, so Susan, it wouldn't be optimal to just show pictures of jewelry all the time on your channels, even though that is what you do. Because on Facebook, because it is a visual relationship network, there has to be something relational that helps me as a consumer connect to you as a human being. So what are those things? And that's where we discover it may be inspirational quotes, it may be humor, and I'm not saying it is. Don't get me wrong. It's got to fit who your audience is. So, who is it that's buying jewelry from you? We've talked about this before, the framework of age, demographic, primarily female, and the age group being, would you say 35 to 75? Yeah, 35 to 75-year-old females. So there's a lot of things that pocket of audience cares about. So you're going to share some of those things to kind of open the door up a little bit to who Susan is. Your name is on your company, so you're saying, I'm building a product, I'm putting it out there for you, they're beautiful, all of those things, and you want to let them in a little bit relationally to who Susan is through different kinds of content that makes sense. Any thoughts or questions on that? Racy? Oh, okay. From your topic, yeah, it could be. It could be. I think in most cases, Steve, again, Facebook, it is not a business network. It's a relationship network. So you can stray a little bit if you're always defaulting to relationship. Is it relational in what you're doing? Because people want to do business with Steve, not with Saguaro PC Tech. They want to know, I'm not saying, that you're posting as Steve. I'm saying They want to know a little bit about the owner, and they want to go, oh, I think I know that guy. I could do business with them. Versus, you're just randomly posting, kitties. So if you tomorrow started putting cats all over your posts, and you had Cat Tuesday, unless they're playing with the computer, it probably wouldn't have the context and relational context that you'd want to have on Facebook. Does that make sense? I think you should, as long as it's in good taste. Yeah. Doesn't have to be. No, because people, again, and we're specifically talking about Facebook, because it's not the same on LinkedIn. People are there for connectivity and relationship. So anything that you can do to continue that and enhance that is going to be a benefit. You're going to have some posts that really take off and go, and you'll find the dumbest things or the most beautiful things that are completely out of context to your business just explode. If people share it and it really blows up. That sometimes that's the name of the game in Facebook world. Did you guys have a question on that? So what I suggest is come up with titles for your types of content. So Susan, you would do jewelry. Barb, you're gonna do quotes from experts on the context of what you talk about. So Simon, you may have a Simon channel, and you may find somebody else like Simon who speaks on motivation, or even some of what Dale was talking about at the beginning today. Experts that talk about how to live your life successfully. So you're saying and sharing their quotes and their content from books. Hey, I've read this, I understand this, and I want to help you improve yourself. So that would be a channel for me, for your clients. And Pam, you're awesome in that you have a really diverse offering in what you put out on Facebook. If you ever want to see how to do it really well, make sure to follow Pam's channels. Very diverse, very entertaining, very engaging, people having a conversation about what she's sharing on Facebook. And it's not, you don't do a lot of, here's my stuff. It's other things that, again, is a lot more relational. Let's see. We already kind of covered artistically. Obviously, you have your product. But then you have what, of the people who buy your product, what are the other things that they care greatly about? Within the context of Susan's demographic and your age demographic, they care about kids or grandkids, somewhere within the context of that demographic, they're all in relationship with kids in most cases. 90-some%. And a kid, grandkid, etc. So that's something you can bring in. Cute. People love animals. You can't get away from that. And cats are more popular than dogs, even though that really hurts me to say it. I'm a dog person, but I'm not completely anti-cat. But I like to tease cat people. So that's an engaging conversation that you could have, as long as it was in fun and done lightly. So lay that out. And lay out the topics of your channels, and then we move to a calendar. Yes, Dale. Nostalgia and history. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Mm-hmm. So then you put it onto your calendar, and again, this is if you're doing it without any posting tools. Some of, for instance, Hootsuite, when we look at that in a moment, This is built into Hootsuite. So you have a physical calendar. Once you've got scheduled posts, it actually lays them out into the calendar, shows you when you schedule them, and you could be a week or two out if you wanted to be. So some folks, like for instance, my wife hires a virtual assistant, and she schedules all of their posts out on the weekends, and she's typically a week to 2 weeks out. So she has this kind of grid. On Mondays, we always talk about, just like Dale just said, and they schedule those, and they're scheduled out and ready to go. I'm going to walk you through several tools to be able to do that today, whether you want to do it organically on the sites or you want to use a scheduling tool. So, some scheduling tools. We'll talk about these and show you. Postplanner.com is a Facebook app, so you can use it within Facebook. It's diminished in popularity a little bit since Facebook added the scheduling tool. I would say what's the big win with Postplanner is their little question mark, which gives you suggestion on posts. They have over 10,000 suggested post ideas inside of it. So when you get stuck, you're on that day and you're stuck, you hit the little question mark, put in a topic, it's broken down by topics, and you find, oh yeah, there's a great one. I'm going to go get a picture that matches that idea and create my post. It's not writing it for you, it's just providing the stimulus and the idea for you to create a post. It's a cool tool. Yep, it's very quick. You can schedule, you could schedule weeks in advance, or you could just do tomorrow and have it scheduled and ready to go. Buffer is a new kid on the block, and again, a scheduling tool that you can schedule. I believe the free version, you can push your Facebook and Twitter, and then if you do paid version, you can do multiple Facebook and multiple Twitter and LinkedIn. And I'll show you that. Hootsuite, the same thing. I would say Hootsuite at this point is one of the Cadillacs. If you pay enough, it will do just about anything you can think of, including giving you statistics on how well your content is performing inside and beyond what you can get from Facebook and Twitter. We'll talk about the Facebook scheduling tool. Another one is Shoutlet. Wildfire app is another. And if you look at these two, we'll put these two. I've posted both of these links in the private group already today, so you can go check those out. And those are two blog posts that give you a breakdown of posting tools. This bottom one, let me make sure I get the top rank. This one right here. This one actually gives you a graph, and it will tell you benefits and negatives for most of these most populars. This one has this one doesn't have that, etc. As far as what you can use in tools. You can do, there is a free Hootsuite version, very simplistic. So again, in many cases, the free version will work for you, and you don't need to pay. Let's see, I think there's a free version on 2 or 3 of those, and I'll show them to you. So I'm going to jump back to a slide here at the beginning, because we're going to talk a little bit directly about this as we look at some of our channels. So if we wanted to, and I'm going to do this right quick, create a post, and I'm going to create a photo post. I'm on Google+. I wanted to cover one thing. Sorry. Sidetrack. If you're doing it organically, my suggestion to you would be to maybe, so let's say I've created a blog post on my blog, and I'm going to go out and share it everywhere from there. I would suggest to push it out first to Google+, and then maybe share it around from there. And again, my reasoning being is because you get the added boost of an SEO bump, an search engine optimization bump, for posting on Google+, if it originates there, you're going to have a potential higher boost. You can via link and vice versa. You can go both ways. Yes. Yeah, and I'll show you where to get the link. So let's say that I did share something here, and I did earlier. I'm going to move on down. So let's get this graphic. So here's our graphic. I'm going to cancel that out. You can go right here to the little drop down and get link to this post. Now I can take that link and share it everywhere. If this had originated, the post and the link to my blog post, I would have added that link to the blog post there, and all of that traffic would originate through Google Plus back to my blog. If you're going to do it this way, I would suggest to start there, but you may want to start with Facebook or somewhere else. But there is added value for driving traffic first through Google Plus. You'll get an SEO boost for your blog, yes. This one is not, but let's say that it was. The difference would be in this post, what I would have done is I would have meant read more on our blog, drop the link to the blog post, is what I would have done. But I still would have probably shared it out as a picture, not just a link to the post, depending on how robust this image. So let me actually grab a post from our blog. Yours probably will have published now. Okay, I'll get a different one. So we've just published an article, and we're going to go to a different one. We're going to go to this one right here, Pinterest Tips and Tricks. Click on the title. That gives me the whole URL right up here, which I'm going to copy. Okay, now I'm going to come over to our page, and I'm going to drop the link. And what I do is I'll do it like this, and then I'll see what it's going to deliver to me. Is this how I want it to go out? That's okay, but I would probably come back and upload the picture and then do the linking. But again, this is not too bad. Yeah, so it automatically, if there's images in your posts, Facebook and Google Plus will pull those images out. If there's more than one, it'll say scroll, and it'll give you the option to scroll through and pick the one that really, says what you're trying to say in that blog post. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and publish this. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and publish this one because it will give you a little bit more than what it initially shows up. So I want to see what it actually looks like. And I'm not going to add the link and read more because this is built into this post. When they click this post, it's going to go to our website, to that blog post. And so there it is. There's that post. And then the other way we could have done it is grab that image, publish it, drop a link here, and they would manually have to click that link. But that one would be a picture that fills this whole frame. So like this, it might be more attractive as you're scrolling through, especially if you're on an iPad or an iPhone. You're kind of scrolling through, ooh, that catches my eye. Here's the link. I'm going to go read that article. Not exactly, because they're two different kinds of posts. What you do is an image post, and you drop the link into the description and what you're saying about the post. But you'll find that oftentimes this kind of post will get you more click-throughs to your website because it's just more enticing. It's visually more enticing. As an artist, I would say you always want to feature your products, Susan, the same, as big as you can. You want people to see it and say, well, I got to have that, and then they're going to click through to the link you've provided. On some social sites. So obviously Pinterest, and I'll show you that. Pinterest is a place you can do that, and again, for art, anything visual, Pinterest is an absolute must. You need to be there because it will convert more sales quicker than these other channels will. And I have ours open. So as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do very briefly is I'm going to grab that image and download it. So I have the image. Just downloading that to the desktop. And so I'll do it the different way now. I'm going to go over to Pinterest and we're going to create a new pin. Let's see, what category would this go to, Dale? Okay. I'm going to add a pin from our computer, choose the file. Here it is on our desktop. Okay. And I had a brief description of that article here. I'm just going to drop it here. And I'm going to go ahead and put pin it. Okay. See it now. Now I'm going to come right here. And here's where I drop the link to that article so that when somebody clicks the image, it's going to go right to that blog post. So your bracelet, your art, your article, whatever it is. And that's one of the reasons that Pinterest is so powerful. People see something that's visually stimulating, they click it, and it goes right to the source. So you could go right to your shopping cart if you wanted to sell something. Yes, Steph. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're faster at this than I am. You're adding the URL where at okay. There it is. Oh, you're talking about right here. Oh, I was going to walk through that, but that's the shortcut. That's a tool to that I've added to my Google Chrome toolbar, and you can add it to Firefox. It's a plugin, so that I can do that. And Dale's right, much faster to do this. Then it's going to say pick what category that you wanted it to be in. And I'm not really going to publish it at this point. And then you may want to add something different to you may want to add some additional, and then hit pin it. Yeah, Pinterest tips and tricks. Yeah, it's pretty well optimized already. Yeah. Yep. And for sure, you're not going to mislink a post then. It's going to go to where you want it to go on your website, not accidentally, oops, I missed a character, got the link wrong or something. Well, that happened here. If you look, when I hit pin it here, it's saying which one of these do you want to choose, because both images are on the page. And I'm choosing this one, and then it allows me to go ahead. So if I wanted to pin a shopping cart item, again, that would be a great way to do that. I would go to products and services, and let's say we're going to pin a Facebook starter package for social media. I would do pin it, and it's not finding my image, so that will happen. It's on my Google Chrome. It's on my Google Chrome browser. You can also put it on your Firefox browser, and I expect that there would also be the plugin for Internet Explorer. I'm not sure. I don't use Safari very much. Not many, not many. That's why typically I always use Chrome or Firefox, because the additional plugins that will shortcut things, like Dale just showed us here. I have a couple of others. I also have Press This. So if I see a really interesting article that I want to say something about, I can push it right to our WordPress blog and write an article about it and publish it right from the browser. That I would have gone through my Chrome setup and added extensions. So you go Tools and Extensions. And on Firefox, they're called add-ons, and they're not called plugins. What else are they called on Firefox? Extensions? Add-ons and extensions. So developers are building gazillions of things that make your browsers do cooler stuff. Yes, you would just go WordPress or Press This, and it'll come up to that plugin, and you can install it on your browser. I have a few other browser tools that go more specifically to what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to have to boogie on time here. Let's go back to our blog, and we'll do social media. Come on. Mm-hmm. 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 Exactly. It's still attached. So let's go to another article. Here's another one right here. So I'm going to, again, click on the title. We'll utilize that for another one of these tools. So let's transition to Buffer. So Buffer is another tool, and I'm going to take you into the tool, but it's a publishing tool that has scheduling built in. It also integrates inside your Facebook, and I'll show you that as well. So you could write in Facebook, start a post, and hit the Buffer button, and I could schedule it for tomorrow, next week, etc. But I'm also scheduling multiple channels at once by doing it outside of Facebook. So I'm pushing to, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and several business pages there. If I chose them all, I can obviously uncheck the ones that I don't want and push this post out to Online Biz Smarts, my LinkedIn, Twitter, and personal Facebook. And so I can hit share now, or I can hit buffer. And when hitting buffer, that's not the ideal image. So I just click it and scroll through. I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to hit buffer, and it's adding it to my buffer. So I'm going to jump to buffer. I had it open. Wake up. Yeah, I know. What the heck? What was I thinking? I'll have to grab my buffer link from the... It went to sleep as well, and I opened it up as something else. So here's my buffer app, and you can see I have this scheduled for today, and then this one is scheduled for tomorrow. And this is the one that I just set up. And I can go in and edit it. I can move it around. I can change my mind and share it right now. So you can do a lot with Buffer, and this is the paid version. The free version just gives you a couple channels. So if you're doing Facebook, let's say you're doing Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, or Facebook and whatever else, you can do that here. Now, I am not going to obviously stay with this, because I would, for the same dollar amount, I'll be honest, Hootsuite is very robust. But if you're just using Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, this would be great for you. But again, $10. Same as this, though. This is $10 a month for what I'm using, and so is Hootsuite. Now, I'm not going to continue that. I just did a 30-day trial on this account, and I won't continue that. But it's a very viable tool, and the advantage I'd say it has is that if you're a lot on Facebook, it has that buffering tool built into Facebook to where you can buffer inside of Facebook. Yep. Hootsuite. Yeah, Hootsuite is very, very robust in what it'll do. I think it's, again, it has the most tools, it does the most, and it does the most channels too. So I'll show you that momentarily. So again, you can see the channels here. It's going to give us analytics on past posts that we've done, and we can look at our schedule. Again, here's what I said. You can, as you have things scheduled, you can have a layout. You can see what it looks like and make sure that your scheduling is matching what you said you were going to do in your different kinds of content. Deborah, who's not here today, she's gotten really good at each day she has a topic. She posts on that topic about plants and other things. You know, so Wednesday's her Weird Plant Wednesday. She always has a cool weird plant that everybody talks about a lot on Wednesdays. I've begun to look forward to that. In fact, I've been sending her suggestions either on weird plants that I see. She does try to keep it fairly pure to desert plants, but sometimes she gets outside of that. So settings, it's got link shortener. You can add team members. So again, a business, a group of people can do this together. If you need to reconnect accounts, etc. And let me show you what that looks like in Facebook. So if I went to create a post, I don't know what I have attached here. So let's say I'm posting about buffer. I can hit buffer right here and go ahead and buffer this post and lay it into scheduling for a later time. So you can see it's right here. It's an actual plugin for Facebook. When you set it up on the website and it's linking your Facebook, it asks for this authorization to be part of your posts. It would, because you're posting inside of Facebook. It's a Facebook app that's posting from within Facebook, so you're not coming from the outside in. Yep. It's a standalone website and a Facebook app, so it's a little bit of both. Okay, so let's go to any questions on buffer? Yeah, I'll show you why here. So here's Hootsuite. Hootsuite is very robust. It's substantial. There's a lot of pieces to it. So as you land, here's my profile. Here's who I am. Here's home. These are all of the different tabs that I've got set up. So if I wanted to begin to publish, compose a message, it's got everything here like all of the other social channels have. I can say something. I can add a link. That would be ironic to link buffer from within Hootsuite and say something about it. And then right over here is where I begin to add my channels. So here we're doing everything for Online Biz Smarts, Online Biz Smarts. So it provides me a snapshot of what I'm going to see. I choose my channels right over here to the right, and I'm going to publish to all of those channels. Here's one of the things I really like about Hootsuite. It isn't just going to our Google Plus profile. It's going to our Google Plus page. It isn't just going to our LinkedIn profile. It's going to our LinkedIn business account. So it's publishing in a business professional way, not just in, most of the other tools will publish to your Facebook business page and your Facebook profile, but anything else, LinkedIn, etc., it's only going to a profile. It doesn't go to professional business channels. This one will, and that's why I like Hootsuite the most. Is this goes to our Twitter account. It goes to our business LinkedIn, so it's publishing as Online Biz Smarts. The same here on Google Plus. It's publishing as Online Biz Smarts, and then of course on our Facebook it is, of course. That makes sense. If you've used many of these tools, that'll ring pretty true to you in that it's publishing where you would like everything to originate from. and that is your branded name, your branded company. Yeah, it is. It is. And if you'll notice something, as we go to our Google Plus here, this post right here came from Hootsuite. There's no identification in or on that post whatsoever that says anything about the fact that it came from Hootsuite. It's just published to Google Plus as online business plans. So highly valuable to me in that it looks like I came to the channel and I created that post. It does on Facebook most of the time. Yeah. You can take it back out. But for Twitter, you would need it there. So what I do within that is I start creating the post here, and I'm just trying to leave that link within the 140 characters. Any other questions? Hootsuite, again, very robust. There's a little bit of a learning curve. You've got your analytics. So what I like about it is it's a great way to look at your Twitter analytics. You do have to pay if you want more than 2 channels of analytics. So they do kind of nickel and dime you on if you want a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, they're going to ask you. If you add more than one other manager, they're going to charge you $10 a head on multiple managers. But again, if you have a robust big business, it's worth it to pay $50 for 5 managers to be involved in the whole process. Because you can make assignments to them. There's a wide variety of things you can do. So you can go to assignments here, and I could assign Dale something that she needed to do for creating a great idea or post on one of our channels. So it has a lot of depth that in the channels, a lot of different things that you can do, and I'm not even going to get into all of the rest of them. But it is, I think, if you're going to pay for a tool, I would say look at Hootsuite first. There are some other paid tools out there. Again, you'll see those on the link that we put in the private group. You can go through and kind of glance through some of those. There are some others that are as robust as Hootsuite, and there are variations. And again, the one blog post actually puts them in a chart, and it'll tell you the differentiation between the paid apps. But let's go back, and let's say that you were just going to stay organic, and you're going to do it without a tool. Yes? Yeah. I think we should explore that and see how that works. I'd like to see how it delivers. Yeah. I don't want to distract you with another squirrel, so I won't say that. All right. So let's say that you're on your page. We're on our business page, and we're creating a post. So I got all these pictures that I want to share from our event last night. So I'm going to create a photo album, and I'm going to go choose these pictures from last night's event, and it's going to begin to load them. And I should call that extravaganza. Well, that's all in caps. I don't want to be completely yelling. Yeah. Thank you. Help me. I should be looking there, and I don't have to admit this. I'm getting new glasses, and I've got to get bifocals. Smarties parties. Okay. Where were these taken? I'm going to say these were online biz smarts. So these are all the things that you would do to create a post on Facebook, especially a category like, multiple photos. And I'll go back and tag those later. But we'll create the post. Now, this is the post to this anniversary celebration gallery. I can take this and I can publish that in some other places from this particular link. And let's see, how friendly is it with Google+? We'll see. Sometimes they play nice and sometimes not so much. We already have it published over here. Yeah, so it gives you an anniversary celebration, but it's not giving you any images because they don't want to play well together. So in that case, you do what we've actually already done, and in the event for last night, we have all of those photos posted. All of you who were there are tagged in it. And I didn't schedule that at all. I just pushed it out to publish, but I should have showed you how to schedule, so I'll go back there. I know, Dale, you're behind me, I think, on everything I shot. So let's say we're going to add those photos and upload photos, and we'll just grab a single photo this time. And I'm going to come right here to the scheduling tool. I'm going to add year, and then the day. I'm backdating it because it was yesterday. And I'm on Facebook. So I'm using the built-in scheduling tool. So if you don't want to use an outside tool, you can use the Facebook scheduling tool. The dilemma is if you're using other channels, there's not a Google Plus scheduling tool. There's not a built-in Twitter scheduling tool, but there are tons of outside scheduling tools that you can use for Twitter for free. There's no Google Plus scheduling. No Google Plus scheduling tool built into Google Plus. You can do Hootsuite, and I believe that's the only one right now that'll publish to Google Plus. Maybe one of the other paid platforms that are in the articles that we shared. No scheduling for LinkedIn. So scheduling is important more than just the right content on the right day. It's also the right time. You want to be out in front of people at the time when the most people are at a computer. So depending on your audience, that can be, in most cases, 10 to 4 and 7 are, everybody's break time and then after dinner are the optimal, and 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. are the two biggest. So that's everybody's home from work. They ate, they got back on Facebook or on their mobile device while they're watching TV, whatever that may be. Those are the two most optimal times. And then, again, dependent on your audience, most cases, for instance, Saturday is not a good day because people are out doing stuff or going somewhere. But Saturday morning can be pretty good sometimes if you get it in before like 11 a.m. Because people are getting breakfast and hanging around. Sunday's a little bit the same way, but it's a little more diverse in that it's, afternoon, after dinner, after everybody's done whatever they've done for the day and they're sunburned and hot and they're coming home and getting on Facebook. So scheduling is very important in that your optimal time, so you may be having to be functional doing what you do to make money during those optimal times. So schedule it so that it's going out and it's in front of people when the most people are going to interact with it. Okay? Questions? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I would suggest strongly, anytime you ever create an online account for anything, put it into a document, keep it in the same document. Because that'll happen to you, and I've had it happen with a client. I have this publishing thing going on, and I don't know how to turn it off. I can't remember where I did it and how I did it and where it's coming from. So sometimes you can backtrack and it'll give you the Hootsuite little snippet. And sometimes it doesn't, and you're going, I have no idea where this is coming from and how it's getting to your Facebook page and everything else. And they don't have a document on how, or somebody else set it up before me. And not really. So keep track. Keep a document with your stuff on it and keep it in a safe place so that you're not, don't put it out in your public Dropbox file, places where everybody can grab it. I'm not saying, your public one on Dropbox that people can go in and see and get information out of. You want to keep it in yeah. You have a folder on your Dropbox file that's public, and you can actually use that as a FTP source. So you can put PDFs in there, source it. Don't put anything in that public file. It's called public. Put it in private files. That's what I'm saying. Just don't put it there or anywhere else that's highly public and other people can access. Any other questions? Scheduling. You guys going to try some of these? Okay. Test drive them. Don't spend a lot of money until you love it. And then it may be worth, hey, $10 a month may be worth it to get some extremely robust posting tools that allows you to hit the button. It's scheduled. It's going out everywhere. And then you can go back and look at that calendar to where it's laid out when it's going out. And I like the fact that on the paid tools, you can go back and edit the post before it goes out. Once you lock in a Facebook post, whatever you said about it, you have to delete it and re-add it. You can't edit. You can edit the time, but you can't edit what you said about it. The other reason I like I didn't say this earlier, when you share a Facebook picture link back to a blog, one of the other reasons I love doing that is you can go back and edit the text on a picture post. It'll let you go back and say something different about it. You can't do it if it's a link post. You're locked into whatever you said. All right, no questions? No? It is kind of odd, but because photos are so editable, you can change what you said about it, you can change who you tagged in it, where the photo was taken, all of those different things. You can indefinitely continue to change that information. Mm-hmm. Depends on the platform that you're utilizing. So let's say that you could take a photo on your iPhone or Android and have the geo-tracking off on the phone app itself, but then you could use Facebook and have the tracking turned on in Facebook, and it could identify where you were at when you took that picture. It could. You have the ability to turn it off. So, I would say be in control of that. Know where it's going. Make sure that you have it turned off everywhere if you don't want people to know where you're at. Yeah. It's device specific. So on each device, when you're creating posts, so for instance on an iPhone, when you're creating posts, it'll allow you right there in the post area to turn on location. Turn it on or off. No more questions. Okay, guys.